Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and in this video I'm be talking about the patch 9.2 PTR. There will be minor spoilers in here. Minor meaning, there's going to be background footage of me playing, and I'm going to be referencing some things that I consider minor in the game. But other than that, I'm not going to be just here revealing things and showing, screenshots or images of new things that are in the new zones and stuff like that. It'll just be very minor spoilers, so there's a spoiler warning in the title as well. Anyways, I'm going to be giving my first impressions essentially here. I went through the first thing I did. I can't help it. I'm a bit of a noob or whatever overall. I went through and played all the storyline that was available first. There's 3 chapters available on the PTR as of when I was making this video. And I went through and I played all 3, or I went through all 3 chapters and, kind of explored the new zone a little bit, which is kind of cool. It's definitely a bit of a change from the Maw to Korthia to now this zone. Like, the Maw, very desolate, very, kind of crappy to be in. Korthia, slightly better. This zone, it actually feels nice to be in, although it is rather large. So my first takeaway, again, was just that the zone is a lot better. Something that they tried to highlight in their little video that they put out was that they tried to make like newer looking creatures or creatures that had different models than before, and try to imagine like what the first version of things would be. I thought they did a really good job with that. I thought a lot of the original like robot things look really cool as well. Some of the animals look really cool. These bear things that I imagine you eventually get as a mount look really cool. Overall, I think they definitely hit on that. It just feels like a better zone to be in. If you're going to be spending a lot of time in a zone, it's not quite as dreary. I will just say one downside so far is that it is rather large, and it was definitely made with flying in mind. So there is going to be flying there, but I don't know exactly when that's going to unlock time-wise, like time-gated or whatever, or if it's just content-gated or however it's going to be. But it is rather large. During the course of the 3 chapters that you're able to do, you do come across like one flight path. And so I don't know if it's like the transport network in the Maw where it just transports me back and forth to those 2 places, or if I unlock other ones, if I can fly from point to point, any of them. If they all have flight paths, it's not quite as bad. Maybe they'll add a flight master's whistle or something for it. But it's definitely made with just flying in mind. So hopefully the unlock for that isn't too bad. Otherwise, I do see people being a little bit annoyed by that because it is a rather large zone. It's mostly green and nice. There is this desert area that's supposed to signify where the jailer's forces have already kind of corrupted things. But it is just a nice green area with really cool stuff overall. So I really like that. Another thing that just stuck out to me, again, this isn't like huge gameplay stuff, but I know in different games, Final Fantasy is one of them, where they have like these little jump puzzles and stuff like that. Now I wouldn't call this a puzzle per se, the thing, but there are treasure chests, and eventually you'll be able to fly and you'll just fly up and get them. But there are treasure chests that are on top of like these, instead of like random hills, they're just like boulders. And then what they did was there's like floating boulders and stuff that you can jump on to get on top of the big ass boulder, and then you can like loot the treasure chest that's up on the top of it. And I assume these treasure chests, I just didn't get far enough to where that they had useful things in them. But eventually, I imagine that they're going to have important stuff for like the encryption and stuff like that. That's going to be in the system there in Zenith Mortis or whatever it's called. And so you do like these jumps. So you jump boulder to boulder to boulder, a little tree here, jump to the top, get it. I think that's pretty cool. It's not something that's really been in the game. It kind of like, so in Korthia we had to like climb trees, which involves some jumping. There's been little things like that before in Legion. In fact, like some treasure chests were hidden behind, like you had to jump from this place to this place to this place. It was always really easy for demon hunters, and I guess a little bit in Shadowlands too with the Venthyr ability, how you could teleport up. But there were some treasure chests you could still get to without the Venthyr ability, but you had to kind of figure your way up and how to do it. So I guess it is something that they've at least been doing since Legion, with a little bit of this jump stuff. But this is definitely like the most intentional one that I can really see. Some of the Legion ones are pretty intentional, but there's just more of these where there's these boulders and you jump up them. You'll see them, when you get there, or if someone's in the background footage on this video. But it's pretty cool. And then the other thing that really stuck out to me that I thought was cool, again, it's going to be puzzle related, but you have to, and they talk about this in the video, but you have to do these like puzzles to like learn more of the language and stuff like that. and it's actually they're pretty easy overall. You're just if you've done, I don't know if it was hard mode or what it was, to do a special boss or something in Vault of the Wardens and Legion. There's an eye boss, just like an eye, and that's it. And you have to like do stuff with the pylons and stuff. Well, there's something you could do in there with the pylons, and if you did it correctly, you got to do something. I can't even remember what it was now, but I remember doing it multiple times. And one of the puzzles is exactly like that. You're just basically doing that pylon game from there. And then another one is just kind of more of a numbers one, where you just kind of making, okay, this one has two there, one there, and you're trying to match them up and make them all equal out to where they cancel each other out, and then they're all gone. And then the other one is, honestly, it's for some people it might be the hardest if they don't think about it, but it's definitely the easiest one. And it's just because there's only 9 tiles, and it's pretty easy. I imagine they do get a little bit more difficult, but they're always constrained on these things to not make them too hard, because you never want someone who's like, let's say you are the top end of anything, right? Whether that's whatever reason you play the game, right? You don't have to be top end. Whatever reason that you play the game, you don't want your gameplay experience to necessarily just be halted by some puzzles that they put in the game. Now, for people who really like puzzles or who are really good at puzzles, they might be like, well, why not? That's cool. It's a cool end game. But it is the way it is what it is. I know a lot of people who play the game that just are not good at the puzzles. I couldn't figure out some of the Kieran Tor stuff. That took a while to figure out the turtle, doing the little turtle race thing wherever you have to make your way through the city in BFA. And some people just struggle with those kind of things. And I kind of agree that you don't want people being stuck behind that kind of content as a necessity. So I do think that they will make them or keep them fairly simple. Maybe some really hard stuff at the end, or some decently hard stuff at the end, but mostly probably fairly simple. Maybe they could have harder modes that give you more rewards if you want to do those. But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool still, though. I like to see that kind of stuff in the game. We've had that again for a while now, but we didn't really have any in Shadowlands. Instead, they had like the Flappy Bird mini game and stuff like that. The parasol thing was pretty cool, but nothing like this. No actual puzzle. So I'm definitely happy to see that kind of make its return. With the Tortolans, we had the match game, right? That's not a puzzle, but it's the same idea. It's a memory game. So that was pretty cool. That stuck out to me as well. Other than that, I'm not going to go too far into the story that was unlocked so far. Again, that would be more of a major spoiler, but I'm having fun so far. The things I'm going to be diving into next are like testing Rat Paladin stuff. Obviously, I want to see how that's going to work going forward. I don't know if the double legendaries are already ready. I imagine they probably are. I didn't get a chance. It took me about an hour and a half to play through the first 3 chapters, and I just did that. But I'm going to be testing that kind of stuff, and just whatever else there is to do in the PTR. There'll probably be a lot of PTR content. Next week, though, will probably be mostly Mage Tower stuff, frankly. So, because that'll be coming out on live, and that'll be really fun to do, I think. So, that's about it for this video. Just my initial thoughts. Again, I'll have more thoughts coming soon. And if like some cooler stuff, like, oh, these puzzles got way harder, I'll make sure to make a specific video about the puzzles, because that's something I really enjoy. So, as always, I do ask you to please subscribe to the channel. It helps me out so much. And other than that, everybody, have a good one.